Yo, 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 how we doing today? I am Justin Satawa. That is my dogs. And we are here for the NHL Free Agent Frenzy. I am so excited to be here with y'all. A little bit of a different episode we got going today because Easy had to use the studio. I'm up north, and Joel is I don't know if he's at state or if he's in the office, but either way, I figured I would come at you with the latest and greatest in the NHL free agent world because so much is going down. Holy crap. I woke up today not even knowing how crazy it was going to be all day, and I am just loving all the action. Nick, how's it going? It's great to have you here today. But yeah, let's just dive on into it. It has been wild every single which way today. Every single team's been active. For the rest of the people who hopefully file in, get in here. The Blackhawks, holy shit. The Blackhawks have really turned it up. They really figured out what they're going to do in their future. And I just, Nick, glad to have you. Yeah, working like me. Well, glad that we're working together here, brother. And I just think there's so many intriguing moves around the NHL today, and I'm really, really, really loving what the Wings are doing. I mean, the Wings. First of all, let's start with the Patrick Kane contract. Getting him at $4 million with incentives. Oh my goodness, I love that move. I love that deal. I think it's very, very solid. Not too big of a deal. I didn't think it was an overpay. I like the incentives in there as well. And the incentives are what really makes it a good contract. Because if we're successful, then he's successful, and it's a mutual agreement, and it's just what we wanted to see out of Stevie Y when it comes to a Kane contract. I think that it was such a good move for him, and then he led that up. Let's go to the first move of the day. The first move of the day was for a two-way guy, not gonna make much impact, but then after that he really started rattling off some signings. So first of all, let's go with the Stamkos thing. Stamkos, 4 years, $8 million AAV, way big overpay. Chase Amley, what up though? Way big overpay. We did not want that. There's no way we wanted that. That is, and he also got 4 years. That doesn't fit our timeline at all. It doesn't even. Oh, it's not even in the realm of possibility that I would have wanted that contract. 8 million at 4 years. Give me a break, Stamkos. Yeah, Nashville's gonna pay it, but Nashville's like closing in on their window. Junior Battle, what is up? Hey, I'm glad I can bring you my thoughts. So I'm out on Stamkos. I'm glad Stamkos didn't sign here. If any of you are happy about Stamkos, then hey, good on you. But that's not me. I do not like that move. And then he followed up on that Stamkos news for such an underrated move, the Cam Talbot move. Oh my God. You'll never see someone, I guess, more excited to pick up an aging veteran backup goalie. Not even a backup goalie. That's a little disrespectful on Cam Talbot's name. But picking up a veteran goalie that is the perfect bridge to Augustine and Costa. Oh my lord. 913 save percentage over his entire career. Really, just a solid netminder. And I agree. Svenmo said it on Big D Energy. Shout out. The Wings would have been in the playoffs with a goalie like Cam Talbot this year. I have no doubt in my mind. Where are you guys at on the Cam Talbot signing? I love it. I think that is the perfect bridge. And then we follow with Jack Campbell, which kind of brings this very interesting new narrative to the scene where, all right, well now we have five goalies in the top two teams of our system is the Red Wings and the Griffins. We have Kosa, Campbell, Talbot, Lyon, and Husso. And Eisman already says he doesn't like having three goalies. So I'm so curious who's the odd man out here, because everyone's like, oh well, Jack Campbell's gonna back up Kosa. Well, he is an NHL vet who's been in the league for a long time. Is he really going to be that guy for Kosa? Is he going to mentor Kosa? I see that angle. That angle makes sense to me. I don't know. I think that your tandem is 100%. Talbot's your starter with either Husso and probably Lyon. They all have the same save percentage. Like, it's actually so funny. You go look up Jack Campbell. You go look up Ville Husso. You go look up Alex Lyon. They all have the almost identical stats, just different number of games played over different seasons and the different ages. So it's really an interesting dynamic that they're going to have this year. And I honestly think that one of them has to be on the move. I'm on the camp that I think Lion or Husso will be dealt to free up the cap space. I was doing some math, and if we sign Raymond and Sider for, I think if the terms it could fluctuate, but 8.25 million for both of them is kind of where I'm feeling is going to be at due to similar contracts with like Nick Suzuki and such. But what I really like is we have still $6.2 million in cap space to just finish up this decor. And honestly, if they do that, I'm happy with this team going into next year. I think it would have been nice to add some more offensive firepower, but I'm not gonna over just one signing. I'd rather shore up the defense, get the core right. And we also could still move some cap around. I mean, if you move off Husso, which would be absolutely fantastic, even if you deal a pick in there, because I think dealing a pick and Husso off your books to bring in another offensive talent, Husso makes $4.5 million, so that's enough for another pretty nice piece there. So I'd really like for the Wings to do that. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on today's signings because we're gonna do some wheeling and dealing. The captain is about to bring it back, homie. I think he said homie. Oh, bring it back home. Yeah, I agree. I like what we're doing. I like that he didn't sign Stamkos. I think Stamkos would have completely hindered his ability in the future, maybe 2 years off from now. I think that just a really interesting set of moves they made. And then I haven't even got to the Eric Gustafsson move. I love the Gustafsson move. I mean, talk about bringing in someone for the same amount of term, cheaper, and better defensively with a better plus minus rating. That's everything Gustafsson to Wallman. And people are saying that he's also going to play Gostisbehere's place on the power play, which is fantastic. That leaves Gostisbehere out of the equation, which you can bring in someone who fits the scheme for a less amount of money that you don't necessarily need him. Joseph Fan, yes, I'm at the lake. I am enjoying, but I'm still grinding. I'm still tapped in on all the NHL free agency and having a blast doing it, being here with you guys. But yeah, the one thing I'll bring in just semi-negative for a slight second. I would love to have the Raymond Insider deals already done. Like I think that goes for everybody though. I think that it's just like all this is happening, and we're eating into a cap, and we have enough to sign them. There's no doubt, but I don't want to get into a bidding war with teams that just have a plethora of cap space. They're like, let's spend to spend, and then we have to get into a bidding war to bring back our future. Oh my God! I see Mitch Marner to the Bolts. Are you serious? Hold on. Now this takes precedent. I gotta check that. But holy crap, if that's true, wow, they are really wheeling and dealing with no cap space that they're doing that. I can't believe that if that's true. Hold on, I'm checking. If anyone can confirm that, that'd be great. I don't see anything yet. Hold on, I'm looking for an official report on Mitch Marner to the Tampa Bay Lightning, which would be an absolute wild move. Oh my God, I wouldn't believe that. I'm not seeing anything official. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything official yet. I don't know if that's true. Take that with a grain of salt. I don't know if that's true. I cannot find anything on Mitch Marner. If anyone can give me a source or something on Mitch Marner, that'd be fantastic. I'll keep refreshing actively to figure that out. But if that is true, they are really figuring it out how to be in that cap space window without going over. And they made the right decision on Stamkos. I'll say that. If they did that, they made the right move on Stamkos, no doubt in my mind. Nashville's window, all right, let's go back into that. Nashville's window now is so small because of that Stamkos contract. Marchessault's also aging. They're on the same path. Wow. Reported by Stan. All right, let me see this. All right, it looks like we're about to go back into the Mitch Marner conversation. Stan. Source, trust me, bro. I might be getting pranked. I'm sorry if I'm about to get pranked, but yeah, there's no result. No, I can't even find that report. Source, trust me, bro. All right, I'm sorry for wasting the time, but the thing with Stamkos and the Nashville Predators is their window is so short, and they're probably going to end up having to deal Saros at the end of his deal, because they're not gonna be able to pay enough players to keep him for it to make sense. They're gonna trade him for prospects, but that's 4 years down the road. 4 years down the road, they're gonna be very good next year. They were so good defensively, adding Marchessault and Stamkos two to forwards to give them some more offensive firepower. I really like what the Predators are doing. I in the short term, they're gonna have a really small window here. We're not seeing anything on the Marner stuff, so we're gonna keep pushing on that, but. In terms of Nashville, yeah, it's a good move for them. The Wings, no, we have way more youth and way more of a ceiling for a longer window than they do, in my opinion. Honestly, I think we'll be in the same spot next season, or maybe take a step back with all these young guys that'll be stepping in. I'm glad Steve didn't lock us into long-term deals today, though. LNW, I don't think so. I think that we have such an elite prospect pool, truly, and I really think around the board, it's not. We don't have one archetype of player, and then we also have a vet in the same archetype of style to teach and preach onto these young guys, and that's what the Tigers lack, to bring it back into something that was unsuccessful. Let's go to something that will be successful, bringing in vets to complement almost every rookie in every way or young player, to teach them this is how you do it, this is how you become better, this is how, and it can also be in the aggregate. It can be multiple guys teaching them different styles to integrate it into their game. And that's the big thing about hockey, is you can learn so many different things from so many different people. And that's why it's like the move of Jack Campbell might be overlooked, but that's important for bringing the veteran presence if he does go down to Grand Rapids and he does help out Kosa, or if he does end up being on the big club. He's been in the playoffs before, so is Cam Talbot. So it's important no matter what. Red Wings are on a youth move. They are 100% Joseph, and I think that it's going to be an interesting one. I love the linear growth pathways, the contracts, and the potential of all the youth are really going on. It's all seamless and together, and that's what I really love to see when I'm looking at a future for teams moving forward. And I honestly, I'm really loving what Stevie Y is doing. I'm hoping we get one more move. There we go. Update. They signed forward Christian Fischer to a 1-year, $1.25 million AAV deal. Perfect. There's another solid forward that doesn't cost you a ton of money, but is an NHL level forward, and that's a good move. Not a lot of value, not a lot of term. It really gives you the flexibility you want in the type of deal. So I think that, I mean, nothing to really, like, whoa at, but like I think that's a good move. I don't think that that's a bad move in any facet. What do you guys think about the Christian Fischer re-signing? I think it's a nice little re-signing there. Is it weird Steve only offered Raymond Insider qualifying offers and not actual deals? I don't know. I think they might want to be betting on themselves. I mean, they see the contracts going up every single year, and they can only continue to go up. The salary cap had the biggest growth in the last couple of years by $4 million this year. I really don't know what's going on with them. It's tough to say because I want them on term, and I want them locked up on long-term deals with a lot of money, because you've seen the potential. It looks like it's there. It's hard to miss when it comes to NHL prospects when it's like that. I really, really want them to be on a long-term deal on long-term money, because then when the salary cap continues to go up, they're on good deals. And we can continue to bring in big free agents as they go to the end of their deal. And that's really why it's such a tricky... It's the balance of term and money. And I'd rather play the term and the money, so that when we are in a window, so think about it like this: we pay them high term for these next 2 years. Let's say the salary cap goes up only another $4 million in the next 2 years. Okay, then that gives you more. That makes their contract be less percentage of the cap. It allows you more money to bring people in and complement them as their value continues to go down, and their value goes up because they are on value term deals. Raymond and Cider also didn't get us into the playoffs yet. Earn something. I have my AOL email lol. Hey, that's a point too. They didn't necessarily cash in the playoffs, and key moments. Like Raymond had his one huge game winner, and I'll give him that credit. But other than that, in the big moments, it was Kane, almost every time. Okay, Kane was your clutch player, and if you want Raymond to be making that big boy money, he needs to be proven that he can be in the clutch every single time. And I think that he's going to take that step this year. I hope that he takes a step for the assistant captain as well. I'd love to see that as he did on Sweden and the World Juniors. I just think there's a lot of interesting little integral details to this year. I work in tech. I've been watching it progress to shit very closely for decades. Are you referring to AOL emails? Lol, that's so funny. I can't believe we're talking about AOL emails. I don't even think I was alive during that span. Gmail was kind of the first came out when I first got an email. So that's kind of I've stuck there my whole life. So Raymond was a lot of games that last stretch of the last season, bro. Yeah, I mean he did, but like in terms of I don't know. I think he wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for Kane. I think Kane was the true catalyst of the clutch streak. I know Raymond put part. I might be spitting bold takes here, but I think Kane was that integral clutch piece for you down the stretch where it was like, all right, we need the game. It's in Kane's hands, and he did it multiple times last year. OT, game on the stick, shootout, game on the stick. Raymond had that one. And he had more contribution. I'm not saying he didn't, but I think the clutch player of the year was Kane. That's all I'm saying. I'm not discrediting Raymond. I'm just saying the clutch player, in my opinion, was Kane. Yeah, I mean, and shout out the Grindline podcast. I mean, I get a lot of my news from them. Fisher is a solid bottom six guy. I love this at this contract. I agree, 100%. I think that's enough to keep it pushing. I'd love to get a big signing though. I don't want to be that guy who's like, oh, let's go. It's big signing. We need it. Oh shit, Carolina's going after Gostisbehere. It seems they're closing in on a deal. 3 years, $10 million total, 3.2 AAV per season. All right. See, I would have been fine giving him that. I can't lie. I don't think I would have been mad about that. Because he still does serve a bunch of value offensively. I believe he's a right-handed D, too, which we don't have a lot of. I may be mistaken on that, and I'm sorry if I am, but I believe he's a right-handed defenseman, which we're lacking currently. But that's an interesting move for Carolina. It's a value piece for them. I see the value, 100%. Yeah. I don't know. I think I would have done Gostisbehere at $9.6 million total. $3.2 million AAV per year. What do you guys think? Would you guys would have done that? I think I would have. I think Raymond showed he can be a clutch player those last 5 to 10 games of the season. He exploded down the stretch and showed an alpha dog mentality. 100%. He showed you a glimpse. But I want to see it for the whole term because Kane was doing it all year. So when he was playing, Kane was doing it all year. I want to see it the full term. I want to see it the full freight. Just like how we have expectations for Hutchinson to exceed, we have expectations for Scooble. We had expectations this year for Scooble to exceed. I expect that everyone to all rise the water on the boats. Tides raise the boats. Let's go. Raymond, 80-point season. Cider, big season. Hopefully he can quarterback one of the 2 power plays. That would be a big step for him this year. In us getting the playoffs and the Kane deal, he's betting money on the playoffs. As Neil said, he's betting the freight. We succeed, he succeeds, and that's what I love about this deal for him. I think it's a very intriguing deal. What up, though, K-Guz? Glad to see you here. GeoCities, wow, throwback. I've been trying to NHL updates with Ask Jeeves and Dogpile. I don't know what you're talking about, Detroit Dabber, but I'm happy to have you here. I think I would have done it, Justin. I'm not 100% on it, though. Maybe 80. I wouldn't want Gasper for 3 years. I only wanted him to bring back if it was a one-year deal. I think I wanted 2, but I think I would have paid him like 2 at a little bit of a higher figure than 3.2, maybe 3.5. I would have done 2 at 3.5, but I do like banking on the guys for next year, the youth for next year and the year after. So I also see why phasing out Gostisbehere, because he is an offensive defenseman. He doesn't even serve as much value as I'd say um, uh, Edmondson, who we signed earlier today, has on this team. I think that Edmondson deserves a bunch of not Edmondson. I'm Gustafson. Sorry, even Edmondson will as well. Edmondson will also serve a bunch of value on this team going forward. You can tell he is critical to this season's success, but Gustafson I think is a very underrated, very good defensive signing. The Kane signing was huge on ice, obviously, but the leadership for that price is huge. Detroit Dabber, 100%. The deal for Kane was absolutely perfect. No complaints. Yeah, it's a player-coach role for sure. Joseph Van, I agree. And I think it's for Raymond. I think Raymond is such a similar player to Kane, where I think it's such a perfect comparison. And I really love seeing that we brought him back because I think that they're going to blossom together. Gustafson is a fine replacement for Gus, offensive defenseman, can run the power play if needed. He's also better on defense than Goss is fair. In my opinion, you may think I'm wrong on that, but I think he's better and he's more solid and has proven that he can be better on a plus-minus ratio in a per-game basis leading for an entire season where Goss Fair goes on these big minus streaks that I don't like. But shout out Ghost for scoring that last-minute goal at the end of the season almost to make us the playoffs. It would have been an absolute electric moment if we would have made the playoffs. But, yeah, damn, rip to some fan favorites, Goss Fair and Wallman. And also, people are saying, like, why do we need to make the Wallman move? Why do we need to free up the cap? You'll see, okay? There's still more moves to make. We got cap space. We got $6.2 million cap space on top of what we're going to sign Raymond and Sider for. We still got places to move. We still got goalies that we can move, which I'm gonna love to dive into that later. I'm gonna love to look at options that maybe someone's gonna take some Ville Husso, like the Sharks. Like, what are the Sharks doing? You know, like what are teams like that doing that can take that cap and just can bet like, yeah, we took a swing on Husso and we missed, but so maybe someone else wants to take a swing. Maybe they think they can fix Husso. Husso did have a good year. He's still young. People might want to take a chance on that, and I'm willing to throw a pick in there to get him out of here, 100%. And Ghost keeps in at the blue line. Legendary dude's got air. Yeah, no, that was pretty lit. He hit that Odell catch on the blue line. That was wild. I couldn't believe he caught that. My buddy actually, shout out Tyler Loring, he literally was telling us, yeah, they're about to score here. I literally looked at him. I was like, what? And then they scored, and I was like, oh, damn. All right. And we were going crazy. It was going nuts. I was that was actually just after my my grandfather passed, so it was very meaningful for me because I was wearing his longtime favorite sweatshirt as they won that game. Even though we didn't make the playoffs, at least won the game. So shout out. What else do I want to talk about? I mean, I don't really want to talk about it, but I will say glad we re-signed Cade. Tobias Harris deal is a good term, good deal. Not mad about it. And I do like Trajan Langdon's moves, but that's all I want to talk about the NBA. 100%. I do not want to talk about the NBA. Yeah, I didn't agree with Neil saying Lyon would be the one to go. I think Husso needs to prove a lot after last season. Let him battle it out in camp. I don't know. I think that one of them's gone for sure. I don't think that because they're not going to keep three. Campbell's a capable third backup if you need to pull someone up to the NHL. If you're not going to pull up Casa, you need Casa to get the first team starts in Grand Rapids for the Griffins. So one is out. You're not keeping all five. There's no chance. It's just a matter of how and when and why you're going to do it. And I'm going to have to dive into what that's going to look like. I can't say that off the bat. I know what the market is going to be for Husso. I know it's going to be hard to move him. Well, yeah, Reimer was in a UFA. I never thought we were going to bring him back. He's such a bridge goalie. He's a worse bridge goalie than Cam Talbot, which is why I'm so happy we signed Cam Talbot today, to be completely honest. Yeah, just a lot of great moves from Yzerman. And is anyone feeling shaky about the Yzer plan right now? Like, I'm not. I'm feeling very confident. I like all these contracts are bridge contracts, keeps you a lot of flexibility. I mean, Eisman trusts in who he's drafting. I guess I didn't even have him in the draft. If you look at their draft, the only person, their second round pick, Plante, I believe is Plante. He was the only player under 6 foot, and I think maybe 6'1", and none of them are below like 200 pounds. They are all massive human beings, and he is building the angry wings. Spenny hit it on the head when he called me during draft night. They are building an angry version of the wings, a big version of the wings that hits hard, comes at you fast, and apparently 4 hours ago, I don't know if that was before or after the Campbell and the Talbot news, but there are still reports that we were in on Gibson. So I don't know if that's still viable or if we still do that. If we did that, we definitely like offload Husso onto them with the contract. But yeah, Chase Hamlin, I never have a doubt in anything Eisman does. I agree. Just fan, shaky about the Eiser plan. Really? See, that's surprising. It seems like you are more towards the Eiser plan than most. So I would be intrigued to know why specifically you don't believe in it. There's also rumors about the Oilers going after John Gibson, which I think that would be a great move for them. They obviously desperately need a goalie, which honestly I'm surprised they haven't been more heavily linked to a goaltender yet, because Oilers they are literally a goaltender away from winning a cup. That ass. Jay Campbell is from Port Huron. Yep, that is very fun fact right there. I wonder what here. I'm gonna look what the NHL is feeling about. People are very confused about the Gostisbehere move to Carolina, which I agree. I'm kind of shocked as well. Don't really know what they're feeling about that. Read above comment. Oh, my bad. Oh, Flannel is shaky about the Eiser plan. Well, Flannel, get on board, buddy. Come on. What is causing you to stay off at this point? Like, they literally are all aboard the choo-choo train. Let's get active. Let's sign good contracts. Let's not overpay. Let's not hinder the rebuild by signing. They are the, in terms of an NHL rebuild, which takes far longer than any other rebuild in sports. Yes, Chase, I did know that. I also just read that they are pretty happy to have him back. But they're confused. They were really confused why he came back. But Chase, 100%. Everyone thinks in the short picture. Eisman thinks in the big picture, and no one is prepared to watch that. I completely agree. Eisman always has something up his sleeve. He's not afraid to go out on the wire. You saw that with the MSN pick when. Not even just me. I saw it on social media. Everyone wanted Yzerman. Everyone wanted Hagee. But he just was like, yeah, no, I don't even care. I know what's best. And he took on the Norwegian Nygaard, who is a very, very looks to be. I'm very interested. I like Nygaard a lot. I also love our second round pick too. He's one of the best passers in the draft, and that is something that I always love. Is if you're a great passer, you'll find a way to play. You'll find a way on a spot on the team. It's such an underrated skill. Everyone wants people who can score and everyone who can, blow people up. But a playmaking passer who really can distribute all over the ice and make an effect on the back check and the forecheck is very much so someone who I always will value in my team. There's no doubt in my mind. So. Just trying to make sure. Oh, and then the Trouba stuff. See, that was breaking this weekend, and that was. I was so shocked. I was like, Trouba on the move, and then I was like, doesn't he get paid like an $8 million contract? And I was like, yeah, he does. I don't know if that's the right move for Detroit. And then I started seeing that like, they're gonna retain $2.5 million of his contract. I was like, ooh. I do that, paying Trouba at $5.5 million over 2 years, plus defensive defenseman who physical as hell. You need a goon. We don't have one. We have no size on our blue line. That's something I would really love to explore. And honestly, now that I'm hearing from Twitter is that the deal didn't necessarily get done, and he's gonna get waived. He's gonna get bought out or waived by the Rangers, which that'd be very intriguing. You don't have to give up any. Well, I don't know how waivers necessarily works. I don't know if I don't think you have to pull. You have to pay his full freight. I don't know about that. If he does get paid on waivers, he's just gonna clear waivers. No one's gonna pay that much money for Trouba. Eisman had to rebuild the Red Wings in their farm system. They were depleted by you-know-who. Yep. You know, my favorite guy, Ken Allen, depleted the Red Wings core, and now you're living the nightmare that has spawned from it as this rebuild has taken forever. And this rebuild wouldn't even taken remotely as wrong if he would have made a couple better contract decisions, but also that's also on the Illiches to keep the streak alive, and they deserve just as much or more flack for making those moves. If you want to claim someone on waivers, you claim the contract we should have to pay a full amount. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I would be interested in working out a trade. I would not be interested in paying the full freight on waivers. I'd let him clear waivers, and then I'd try to get him on a cheaper deal. Ken Holland, the team destroyer, just a fan. Laugh my ass off. But it's a way to acquire someone without having to give up any assets except the cost of cap space. Thank you, Chase Amley. You are the boy. You are a hockey elitist, and I appreciate talking puck with you at any point, at any time. Sharks took on full term of Barclay Goodrow when they claimed him. Yep. I figured they did. I figured, all right. Yeah, I don't know about Trouba on waivers. I'd wait for him. I don't know if anyone would pay Trouba $8 million. Another one I'd love to be explore a little more is Aaron Ekblad. I don't know how necessarily gettable that's going to be or attainable. I just would love it. It is such a true pedigree move. He's a big D. He play offense, play defense. I see that's now my dream, and you can fit him. You have his exact contract fits in the $6.2 million you have left in cap space, even if you sign Raymond and Sider to player friendly deals where they're getting more money. And so I think it's in a really intriguing spot for the Red Wings currently. I think that there's still a lot of flexibility. I do want to talk a second about the Capitals, though. Holy shit, the Capitals are doing an amazing job retooling. They went from being a past their prime team with aging contracts to a team of young second contract getting stars who really are going to round out that team so nicely. Like, I am so intrigued at the Capitals next year. And honestly, the East is going to be just as hard as it was this year. I'm gonna pull up the East real quick, and I'm gonna see who we're gonna probably be competing with, because it's gonna be a tough get into the NHL playoffs again this year. Like, it's not gonna be any cakewalk at all. Like, as much as we're saying playoffs, and we are super close. All right, so the Panthers, they'll probably drop off a little bit, but you're probably still expecting around 100 points. Bruins, they made some great moves. I mean, depends if they bring back Swayman, but they're going to be up there. Maple Leafs look like they're retooling. They got some nice players. I mean, I can't say that they're going to be some slouch. Then we have the Wings. So, I mean, right there you probably got... Oh, and I skipped the Lightning. The Lightning are going to be there. They're going to be better than they were last year. I think Gonzalo is an upgrade from Stamkos, and I think that they still have the core to compete. So I think that they're still going to hover around 100 games. So right there, that's probably 4 playoff spots right there, and all from your division. And then you got the Rangers, who they seem like they're in a little bit of a purgatory. Same with the Hurricanes, but they're probably going to be able to retain enough where they're going to be playoff teams. The Islanders look like they improved. The Capitals improved. The Pens were close last year. The Devils, the East is going to be just as tough. Like, this might not be a cakewalk to the playoffs as much as we think. I think we should be there 100%, but holy shit. I mean, the Sabres are also rising. You know, this is going to be another tough push to the playoffs, you know. And are we ready to maybe say that are okay if we have a great year, maybe put up around 100 points, but still don't make the playoffs. Because that's like if we put up 95 points, don't make the playoffs. Like, is that a failure of a season? Because that's in the cards. Like with how stacked the East is, that's in the cards, and that's unfortunate to think about. As we're all going hype, 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 playoffs, playoffs, playoffs. Like I get it, I want that. That's my expectation of the goal. But is it going to be, is it going to be a failure if we put 95 points up and don't make the playoffs? It's going to take points to make the playoffs in the East, minimum. Yeah, it's going to take a ton. Every team looks like they're reloading. Like there's not really a team that seems like they're going to fall off. All the teams we are fighting with to get in with got better too. Yeah. LNW 100%. And I want to ride the train. I want to ride the wave. I want to be, playoffs. But it's going to be tough. And all these teams are improving. Chase is hitting it on the head. That was LNW. My bad. But, yeah, there's some great moves out there. And the Capitals, I mean, you could argue they're a better team than us. They have better goaltending. They might have better offensive firepower. They might have the defenseman now after signing Matt Roy and trading for Jakob Chichurn. It's 90 points minimum, no doubt. I think it's 94. It's gonna be 94, 95 to get in the club this year. Wing's gonna make it with the power of friendship. I hope so, but you can't, just be believing on the power of friendship these days. You actually need to get some result. And shout out Twitter, by the way. I had my first semi-viral tweet today about Cam Talbot, that he's the perfect bridge goalie to Augustine to Cossa. Shout out, 13K views. Boom! Tap in with your boy on Twitter if you're not already. I think all of you are, because all you guys are all the homies. Yeah, playoff format it's kind of trash. They need to go back to the 1 to the 8. The new wild card format, I hate it with the divisions. They should just go 1 through 8. If you win your division, you're automatically in. That can be okay. But other than that, 1 through 8 should just be it should be the 2 division winners, and you can even put the 2 division winners on top, like as the 1 and 2 seeds, and then go 3 through 8 from the bottom of there. But I don't know. I do not like the playoff format. DeBrincat needs to be more consistent this year. Also, he's had a full year with Kane. 100%. DeBrincat needs to have a better season. DeBrincat did not have did not have a good enough year. 100%. No doubt he needs to be better. He needs to put up more points. He needs to be more productive. In just the relative scheme of the game, all back-checking and forechecking, which is not his job, but is Talbot, or however you spell it, better than Lyon? Because when Lyon isn't overworked, he's pretty solid. So that could work out if so. Yes, LNW, he is, but I would just say because he's a veteran, he's been there, and he's been more consistent over his career and proved that he can play at a consistent basis. I love Lyon as the 1B, though. Lyon as the 1B really, all right. Putting in Lyon for a couple games, letting him get hot, and then setting him down and letting Talbot play. See, that's a good scenario for me. I like that a lot. I think that we got to find a way to move off Husso. We need to dump the $4.5 million. If you dump the $4.5 million off Husso, you really have money to play with to bring in another scoring threat on offense. Because I think you bring in another D, you bring in another scoring threat. You really got a nice team going into next year, and we're talking winning a playoff series. If you get into the playoffs, you still need 95 points, and that's where we need to be getting to currently, in my opinion. And it's just, are we there yet? No, I think we need a couple more additions here to get to 95 points. I put Lyon ahead of Talbot at his point in his career. He's up there in age, has a tendency to give up 4 and 5 spots. Yeah, he does have some bad games. When they're bad. But I mean, when you know him and you get there and you start learning his tendencies, you can see the bad game slipping, and that's when you can hopefully inject Lyon in there and hopefully save a couple of those games from tail spinning out of control. So this means we're really banking on Cossa being the guy next year, then, right? I think no. I think we're hoping that Cossa can maybe moonlight in the NHL a little bit, but I think that we're really waiting for Augustine. From everything I've heard, everything that I've seen, Augustine seems to be that guy who we're really we're really hoping for as the number one goalie of the future. And Costa, it could 100% be great. It could be Ben Bishop and then Vasilevsky with Augustine behind it. I'm not saying that's too far-fetched. Costa shows a lot of promise, but he 100% needs another year in GR. Possibly more, but I could see Costa getting some reps towards the back end of the 2025-26 season. If we're putting Talbot on a spectrum, I put him closer to Reimer than Lyon. See, I don't know. I don't know if I really have Reimer above Lyon, Chase. I don't know. I'm a Reimer hater on the low key. I think Talbot's better than Reimer, and I might put Reimer above Lyon slightly. But in terms of getting hot and being a good goalie, I like Lyon over Reimer in terms of short stints being hot. Did we sign a defenseman yet? Ryan's reaction: we signed Eric Gustafsson from the Rangers on a 2-year, $2.5 million deal, and he is going to be pretty much he's Wallman and Gostisbehere's replacement in two different ways. The defensive aspect for he's better than both of them. Both of them, their best attributes, he's better than both of them in my opinion. And he quarterbacked the power play, which is what's so critical about moving goals. But that was pretty much Wallman's money that you moved off to get him. So I like that move a lot. I would expect another move for a D, another bridge deal, probably a 1 or 2 year deal to bridge you to the rest of your defensemen you have in the minors. But I'm really liking what he's doing. Chase Hamlin, I don't hate Reimer. I don't trust him in net at this point in his career. He has a decent goalie, but he is Swiss cheese. Yes, I don't like Reimer at all. Does anyone see, though, that Jack Campbell, like this buyout from Edmonton, they gave him a ton of money. So the prove-it deal is nice, but I don't know. I don't necessarily know if I see that. And, hey, shout out Broder. I will be VMixing in at 8:45 to talk about the Red Wings on Wake Up Woodward, so make sure you tap in. I will be throwing all these opinions out to, I guess, argue with Flannel, which will be pretty hype. But, yeah, I'm super stoked. I love our draft, 100%. And all these contracts show, next year playoffs, but really competing the year after that. Which if you have Gustafsson as your third pair D, because he's on a contract that you could 100% justify him being a third pair D, that is a really good defensive team, and I'd be very interested to see who slots in above him. Obviously, Edvinsson would be at that point. We'd have Sider. But we're kind of looking for the rest of the pieces, who's going to be here in a year after this year, and how we're going to be looking when we're actually ready to compete for a championship. Rip Ryan's reactions Oreos. I'm sorry, you dropped him on the floor. Are you guys a golden Oreo or a chocolate Oreo type of guy? And when you guys answer that in chat, probably gonna wrap this up because it's getting to 4:55. But and go check out Woodward Heavyweights, the boys, the homies. They're always looking out for your boy. I'm a golden Oreo guy myself. I'm in the minority. I don't know. I guess it's just something about the chocolate makes it like thicker to eat, I guess, and like it's just the golden ones go down like much easier, I guess. Pause. But yeah. I have those too. Right? Hey, let's clap it up for Ryan's reactions, who has the Star Wars Oreos. I have them. I haven't tried them yet. I have them in the package still. But I'm very excited to try them and look at them and look at the different designs on them. I really enjoy Star Wars. I'm a huge nerd. Star Wars and Marvel. So if you ever want to, lifestyle chat it up in those topics, I am versed. I'm an absolute nerd. I own like 4 or 5 lightsabers. I own a Spider-Man suit, Spider-Man helmet, 2 Star Wars Trooper helmets. I got the works. So if you ever want to talk about that stuff, I'm always down. I love that type of stuff. Acolyte, I've been watching it a little bit. I've watched the first episode or 2. It's solid, but nothing that I'd really be like, oh, you have to watch this. You have to watch this. I'm really, really hoping I can get to watching The Boys soon. Um, I've heard that that's great, and I'm very excited to get into that. I've just only heard phenomenal things um, about that. But and the NHL like quarterback show. That's I see like that one. I'm gonna be tapped in as soon as it comes out. I'm really excited for that one. I'm really interested because I really love. Do any of you guys watch the Road to the Winter Classic show when it comes out, leading up to the Winter Classic on NBC? I really enjoy that show. I like watching the season through that perspective and leading up to the storylines. And I know it's dramatized a little bit, but it really does give you a nice look inside the locker room. When the Wings did it, I watched every episode, and I hope the Wings get a Winter Classic again soon. They deserve it. That's one of the teams that deserves to have like a rotating Winter Classic at a relatively consistent basis. They always do, Chicago and Boston, and Detroit definitely deserves to be in that mix for the Winter Classics 100%. But that's going to do it for me today on Ying Yang Sports Free Agent Frenzy. We had two things of NHL news as we went through this today, and I very much enjoyed it's Josephine, I feel you. They're not even following the Star Wars storylines. It does bother me 100%. I can't lie and say that it doesn't. It does, and I love Star Wars to death. So please make good content, Star Wars. But thank you for tuning in to Yang Sports. Oh, Stadium Series in Columbus at Horseshoe in 2025. Fire. Wait, is that this year? Is that this year? If it's 2025, it would be this year, unless it's 2026. So if we had one this year, that'd be hype. And I hope that they come out with a Stadium Series show so that we can tap into the insides and outsides of the. Yes, Allen W. I do think there's more moves to come tonight. If not tonight, they'll come tomorrow. Free agency is loading down. It is a race to get whatever you can to. It is an arms race. It is a current arms race in the NHL to. Yeah, fire. Let's go. Chase Hamley, I'm super excited for that. I am so excited that I hope they have a show because I'm really excited for the Stadium Series. But there will be more moves today. I would bet on it. There's going to be more moves tomorrow. It is an arms race in the NHL. The East is becoming an absolute war zone. The teams in the East are all building. They're all stacking. We have to continue to stack. We have to continue to build this roster. But at the same time, we have to think about the long term and how we're going to progress in these next 2 seasons as we get into our Stanley Cup window. That will do it for me today on YingYang Sports. Thank you so much for tapping in, all of you. I appreciate all of you so much, especially all of you who tapped in for the draft show last weekend. That was so fun. I had a blast. I did get up here safe, don't you worry. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace, and have a great